Happy November already. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like officially, it's actually the holiday season. It's gonna get crazy for me when it comes to work. I'm really excited. So let's go into the favorite products that I have that I tried in the month of October. October was holiday makeup launch time. So there was tons of new items and it's very palette heavy. Prepare thyself. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start off actually with a tool, a brush. You're going to see me using this to apply my foundation and concealer because I do have a foundation and concealer in this video as well. This is the It Cosmetics number 7 brush. I have been enjoying this as both the foundation and concealer brush. As you can see, it's a double-sided brush. So you have the big side, which is really great for foundation, and the small side, which is really great for concealer and just getting into the small areas and crevices of the face. I find that this blends in liquid products beautifully, and if there are any streaks, which there really aren't with this, I do have a wet sponge close by, particularly with concealer. I do notice this is a bit stiff when it comes to concealer, so sometimes I do need a little bit of a sponge to help out, but I love it because it's an all-in-one brush. I can grab for this concealer and foundation out of the way with this. It does a really nice job. I did a sponsorship earlier in the month with It Cosmetics, which is the reason I tried this, and so thankful for that sponsorship for this brush because, wow. Sorry guys, the sun is coming in and changing the lighting. Next up, let's talk foundation. This is an incredible find. So Catrice reformulated their HD liquid coverage foundation. This was one of my favorite foundations over the last few years. It's full coverage, it's matte, it's long wearing, and it's drugstore. So anytime I could do affordable foundation recommendations, I always recommended this, and they reformulated it, and I think it's even better. So the thing with this foundation is less is more, because if you over apply, it will look a little cakey and makeup-y. But this is one of the only drugstore foundations that I have that I love that provides full long wearing coverage. This is for a night that you just want to have perfect looking skin. So if you're looking for a full coverage drugstore foundation, this is the way to go. And I feel like it looks a little bit more natural and less cakey than the old formulation. So not only did they improve the formulation, they also made it even more affordable, which is unheard of right now. As you know, everything is going up in price. This is like the only product I've ever heard of that has gone down in price. So I've been loving this. It just looks really good, and I'm happy because the formula is now improved, in my opinion. Concealer. I talked about this in my Sephora recommendations video. Since I did a lot of recommendations videos, I've talked about a number of this stuff already, but it's still a favorites video. I need to talk about it. So this is the concealer, I want to say probably of the last 6 months, if not the whole year. This is definitely one of the few concealers that have launched that I am in love with. This is the Milk Makeup Future Fluid All Over Cream Concealer. I have mine in the shade 9N, and this one is very hydrating. It gives a medium to full coverage, and it looks really smooth on the under eyes. It blends out a little bit more liquidy, which I prefer because some concealers, especially the ones that have come out lately, I feel like they've been more thick, so they've looked a little bit more heavy on the under eyes. This one blends out not as easily as water, but it's more liquidy, so it just spreads with ease, and so it continues to look lightweight under the eyes while still providing good coverage and is hydrating. Definitely an underrated product. I feel like I haven't heard many people talk about this launch from Milk. I even was hesitant. I just picked it up randomly, hadn't heard anything about it, though I'm very happy I did because it is an incredible concealer. By far the best that has launched recently. Better than Charlotte Tilbury, better than the Rephr Beauty, better than Sephora collection, period. Buy this. So this is a fairly new product. It's not new, but it's one of those products that I've been using in the background and reaching for just because it's such a wearable and versatile color. It's so random, but this is the Color Pop blush from the High School Musical collection, and I was born in 1996, so this came out when I was a child, and I loved High School Musical, and it's their blush in the shade Wildcats. Now, they did launch a couple other colors in the collection, which I like, but I just feel like this one is so much more wearable. So this is just a very light peach, but because it's so light, it can go well with both warm looks and cool looks. I've just found it very versatile, and powder blushes is one of the best formulas that ColourPop does. Extremely affordable, and you can't go wrong with this formulation, and they also come out with so many great colors and new collections all the time. So if you're looking for a good pressed powder blush, ColourPop is the way to go if you don't want to break the bank. And I've been using this color, and it also gives me nostalgia because it's High School Musical. I'm not even sure if it's still available. I hope it is, but you can definitely tell I've been into this because the embossment is almost gone. So yeah, been loving this. I had to talk about these next because, I mean, they're one of the most exciting launches of the holiday season. So this month, I finally tried out the Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Face Palettes from the Pillow Talk collection. I had waited a while for these. They took a while to come in the mail. I'm finally happy I have them. I think the packaging is just stunning. What a luxurious product. Now, it's very interesting. She launched 2 shades. We have one for Pillow Talk light to medium, or fair to medium, excuse me, for lighter skin tones. So this one is a little bit more pinky. Obviously, for my skin tone, this is the one that I would go for if I did not have a review channel. It's beautiful, it's pink. If you don't like pink, you're not gonna like these palettes. But she also launched a Pillow Talk medium to deep, which is a little bit deeper, and surprisingly this one does work for me as well. I'm actually wearing the medium to deep on my face right now, just so you can get an idea. I used this baked gelée formulation with a really loose brush, something that had no density. It's the Sigma Dream Contour, in case you're wondering. I use that to apply the pink to my cheek, which it does provide a lot of pigment, so if you do have a deeper complexion, this will still work. I just had to use the correct tools to make it work on my skin tone. And then I used this highlight right here actually as a blush topper to create a shimmering glow on the cheek. And then I finished off with this light kind of champagne-y pink as my highlight, and it does work on my skin tone as a highlight. So while I'm happy this does work for me because it's beautiful, it's great quality, in terms of inclusivity, this should not have worked for me. So keep that in mind. If you have a medium to deep complexion and purchase this, let me know how it worked on you. But if you are a light medium complexion like myself, this did work for me. And I've been loving both of these. I think they are stunning formulas. The blushes, very easy to use, blend out. They're not overly pigmented. And the highlights are super stunning. They give you that Charlotte Tilbury glow on the cheek that she's known for. Very pinky. And it's just been a joy to grab for in general. Whenever I want a cheek color, I have the blushes and the highlights here. I know it's going to look beautiful. The packaging is stunning. It makes the luxury experience. When it comes to makeup, if you want the luxury experience when applying, this is a great way to go, and the formulas are beautiful. Now, in terms of it being worth the money, because obviously these are very pricey, I'm one personally to throw down a little bit of money on a really good luxurious cheek palette. I just feel like the experience of a luxurious cheek palette is special because of how the products tend to glide onto the cheeks. So for me, these are worth it. But I would say these probably aren't my #1 cheek palettes. I would recommend the Hourglass over these, but I still love these, okay? I still love them, but I'm trying to take myself back down to earth. And these still are quite expensive, so just keep that in mind. Moving on to eyeliners. I have talked about this formula before, but I've been loving these colors. So these are the Hourglass waterproof gel eyeliners. So a while back, a few months ago, I got a PR package from Hourglass, and they sent a bunch of colors of these eyeliners. And so I've been working through the different colors, and this month I fell in love with 2 in particular. I'll talk about the one that I'm wearing, but the ones that I've been loving a little bit more are the shades Cave, which is a really dark brown. That's the bottom swatch on my hand. And then Solstice, which is a gold shade. I've been wearing a lot of brown makeup looks lately, and these are the perfect eyeliners. I've talked about this a lot. I've been really into brown eyeliner as opposed to black eyeliner for everyday. I just feel like it's a lot less harsh, but it still adds a smoky, defined look to the eye as well. And it's something different without being completely random. You know, it looks more natural and soft, but still gives that definition. And the Hourglass gel liners are really great because they do not budge, but you do have some playtime with them to clean it up, use your finger to sharpen the wing. They're very easy to use. I would say they're not the absolute most creamiest gel liner I've ever used, but I like that because I feel like we get the longevity because of that, and they still have a nice glide to them. Now today, this color isn't necessarily in my favorites, but it's a gorgeous shade to pair with rosy looks. It's kind of like a Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeliner. So this is in the shade Chestnut, and you can see it has like a plummy red element to it, and I just created a wing with that, and I thought this color would really complement the pinky purple look that I have on my eyes. And you can see this adds definition to the eye while being different from black, and I think it just makes it more fun. So this is also a very neat color that I will have linked down below. Next up, I have some eyelashes. I've been using these in every single video that I filmed and I recommended them for the Sephora sale, but I just want to talk to you about these because they are the most beautiful lashes, and you guys know I love a good cheap lash, but I can't stop wearing these. So these are from Velour, and they are in the style Cloud 9. And I feel like on my eyes, which are quite small, they are not too long, but they still give the dramatics without overtaking my eye. It doesn't look crazy. They're nice and wispy. So these are perfect for, I wouldn't necessarily say everyday makeup looks, but makeup looks that you want to look nice for. It's a little bit of a step up from the everyday look while still not being too dramatic, and these are stunning. I'm really excited because Velour actually messaged me and they were like, we saw you talked about our lashes, can we send you a few more pairs? I was like, heck yeah, because I was gonna buy these during this Sephora sale anyway, so I'm so excited to get more of these. And I've worn this pair of lashes, like this particular pair, like over 15 times, and they are still going strong. So quality, longevity on these is also really great. One last product before we get into eyeshadow palettes. This is the Tower 28 multi-liner one-liners. As far as I've been able to tell up until this point, they are still not yet available on Sephora, but on the Tower 28 website. But I've been loving these both for the color and the formulation. So these you're able to use as eyeliner, lip liner, whatever you want, kind of like the Makeup Forever ones. I used these as eyeliner a couple of days. It was fine, but I personally prefer these for lip liners. I think the colors that they have are phenomenal. I have 3. I only swatched 2 today because the third one is in a purse or something from Muse, but the lighter shade is Work of Art and the darker shade is Draw Me. And so I do have these on my lips as well. I used Work of Art to really get around the edges, and then I used a little bit of Draw Me and blended that on the outer parts of the lips just to add a little bit more definition to the lips. I really like these because they are a drier formulation. I prefer that for lip liners because I feel like I have more control and they last longer. It's a different formulation than is popular with lip liners right now, but I love it. It's like a true old school lip liner formulation. It's a wooden pencil. So stinking good. Beautiful colors. Between this and the mascara from Tower 28, oh my gosh, their launches have been amazing, and I've heard nobody talk about these, and these have been my go-to lip liners lately. Like, I've sharpened them down already. That says a lot for somebody who has a collection like mine, but yes, love those. Okay, let's get into eyeshadow palettes. Actually, throughout 2022, eyeshadow palettes aren't as popular as they once were. A lot less launched this year as opposed to the previous years, and I've been skipping a couple months every other month of my palette rankings because there hasn't been as many, but these brands popped off for the holidays, okay? There was a lot. I have a lot to talk about, but let's start off with the one that I'm wearing, and it is by Pat Mcgrath. Pat Mcgrath, as you know, launched her big mega mothership, which I will be talking about in this video as well, but do not sleep on the little 5-panners that she launched. I'd argue that I might like these better than the Mothership Mega. So these are 2 different 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. They come in adorable little packaging, and these are formulas that Pat Mcgrath had never done before. They're different. They're really beautiful. So the first one that I have is Nude Allure. This is the more pinky one. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. Now, these palettes are for the more simple person. Her Mothership Mega was very colorful this year, If you're a neutral lover, you've got to give these a try. So for today's look, I started off with the satin shade right here. It's like a satin matte on the outer corner, and I blended that in. I also used it along the lower lash line as well. Very, very pigmented. It's actually quite shocking, but still very, very easy to work with. All of these palettes, or these two palettes, I guess not all, there's not a lot, but these two palettes only contain one matte. It's kind of like a satin matte, but the focal point of these palettes are going to be like a shimmery, glowy eyelid. So you're just gonna dip into the one matte and then apply the shimmers to the rest. A great palette for one and done, two and done looks. So we did that. And then I went into this kind of purpley pinky shade, and I applied this to the center of the lid as well as the center of my lower lash line. This one's a little bit deeper. It would have been pretty for a more smoky, deep kind of look, but I wanted to brighten it a little bit. So I went into this mid-tone pinky gold shade, and I applied this to the inner part of my eyelid as well as the inner part of my lower lash line to create more definition to the look. And then finally, there is this very light shade right here, and I applied this to the inner part of my eye just to highlight that and my brow bone as well. And this is how you got the look. I mean, it looks stunning, it looks very luxurious, kind of that elegant Tom Ford-esque kind of look in that there's not a lot of definition. It looks really hazy and ethereal. A look similar to what I think Makeup by Mario is trying to get with his new palette as well. Really stunning. Haven't come across a palette like this from Pat McGrath. The shimmers are really, really refined here. You know, they're not glittery, but they're very, very shimmery. So this one's beautiful. And she did launch a second one. I was raving about Nude Allure because it's what I have on my eyelid right now, but the other one is also arguably even more beautiful. This is the Bronze Bliss one, and this one is more for like smoky eyes, right? You get a little bit more variety in terms of depth. You have the matte shade, and then you have some insane lid color. So Nude Allure is a little bit more wearable for me, and then this Bronze Bliss is just like, right? I don't know. It just is. My eyes are definitely more attracted to get a really smoky look. If you want, you have this crazy silver shade, you have a dark brown, a mid-tone brown, a light champagne shade. This one's really fun, perfect for evenings out. I mean, you can still get a very wearable look, but yeah, I mean, everybody keeps talking about the Mega Mothership, myself included, but do not sleep on these little guys because they are an amazing formula and they look so good on the eyes. And if you didn't like the big palette because it was too colorful, I think you will really like these. Speaking of, because I mentioned it so much, I wasn't gonna put this in this video, but I realized I did try it like literally October 1st. So we've got to talk about this. I've still had a lot of fun with this. I've used every shade in this palette. Everything is very high quality. Am I more attracted to the little palettes? Yes, because I'm boring, but I've had a lot of fun with this. As a Pat McGrath collector, this one excites me a lot because it contains shades that I do not have any similarities to in my other Pat McGrath items. So it's a great addition into my collection with Pat McGrath, and I've had a lot of fun with it. Am I going to reach for the smaller palettes more? Yes, but as a collector, I'm still very, very excited about this one, and I've had a lot of fun with it, and it wouldn't feel right if I didn't include it in this video. I'm also going to pass through this one pretty quickly because I've talked about it a lot, but the Huda Beauty Empowered has been really fun. I've said this in every single video, it's not my favorite Huda Beauty palette. I feel like she's come out with better palettes. However, that's not formulation-wise. I feel like she's come out with better palettes color story-wise, ones that I'm more attracted to. She played it safe this year. Not that special, right? But doesn't mean I'm not reaching for it because I am a very boring person. So for the everyday, you know, I'm reaching for the same stuff over and over again. I've had a lot of fun with this, believe it or not. I've loved my makeup every time that I've worn this, and it's kind of right up my alley in terms of the looks that I've been able to create on the daily. So while the collector in me, the reviewer in me, the person who pays close attention to the makeup market and things that are being launched, this didn't excite me that much. But in terms of like wearing makeup every day, I've been loving that. And then finally, you know, this is like the creative person in me is loving these. Odin's Eye does not miss. You know, they are one brand that I would say has had the biggest evolution very quickly of all of the brands in my collection. They kill it now, like a 100% success rate. So this is from their Christmas collection, and they're very Christmassy colors, but I mean, Odin's Eye puts together a palette, let me tell you. So this first one is the Christmas Eve palette. It has a lot of purples and blues. We have some golds here, stunning. And then the other one that we have is the Merry Christmas palette. Now I did do a full dedicated review on these if you're curious. I did a couple of looks. This is the Merry Christmas palette. It goes a literal with greens and reds. Christmas themed as they may be, which I would think would be obnoxious, when it comes to Odin's Eye palettes, they always curate a palette that you're gonna get a freaking stunning look with, and that is the case with these. These feed my creative soul, even though I'm not very creative, but when I want to go outside of the box or I want my makeup to just look incredible, these are the way to go. They always create such unique looks that I feel like I don't get with my other palettes. That's so thoughtless. You know, even if I can get a really fun, creative, beautiful look with other palettes, this one I don't even need to think about it. It doesn't matter what color combo you put together, which shades you put where. I just feel like my looks look so good with that. I think they are one of the most amazing indie brands. They have some of the best quality for the price point. Highly recommend looking into those if you like color and want to play around or want to give a gift with a brand that somebody might not have ever heard of. I think they will fall in love. So all around, phenomenal job. Had to mention that. Okay, we have one last item. That's all that I have for makeup. But you guys know I always like to finish off with a bag because I am really into handbags. So my bag of the month, I've had this one for a while, and this is one that I thought about purchasing for a while before I picked it up. You guys know I've put you on to the Marc Jacobs tote bag. Now this tote bag particular style is no longer available, unfortunately, but they are always releasing new colors, new styles of this type of bag, so keep an eye out. For the winter season, I wasn't too moved. They have some really cool shearling styles, but I'm not in love with their winter collection. Their summer collection was incredible. But anyways, I really love my tote bag for carrying my laptop around. It's big enough to carry my laptop, but also it's not too big to carry my laptop. And I've been going to coffee shops and stuff a lot, and I still feel very chic with this bag. Maybe chic's not the correct word, but I feel very cute and stylish with this bag while it's able to hold a lot of my stuff. And it's just a super functional bag that I find to be very cute. I love this so much. I do plan on eventually purchasing another tote bag when the correct style comes out that I'm really, really into. But I'm still loving that bag for you guys who are curious. The one thing I will say, I wouldn't use it in an airport or somewhere where I do need to carry it a lot for like long distances for a long time, because the particular size that I have, I feel like it can get heavy and it's not really the most comfortable as a crossbody or just holding it by the top handle. But for short walks, throwing it into an Uber, anything like that, it's been perfect. So I've been getting a lot of use out of that lately. So there we have it, you guys. Those were my favorites for the month of October. We had some really good hits here. I'm already nervous for November, like what's gonna come out that I'm gonna have to put in. But anyways, good stuff. I will have everything that I talked about linked down below. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you guys do that and like this video. And I will see you in the next one. And by the way, I will have my palette rankings video this month. I skipped last month because I didn't try that many. So now this month is gonna be like 20 palettes. So get ready for that. We'll cover every palette that I tried this month and what's good and what's not. Okay, bye guys, have a good one.